Oh, it gave us a preview this time.
A preview?
Yeah.
Well, you're using a Windows computer.
I mean, we've been over this. I'm PC retarded. I can't operate PCs. I run on the Mac.
Yeah.
We've been over this.
Hopefully you're seeing this thing. Send us a little thing, because last time we tried using my computer, it was not working very well. And oh, there it is. Are we there?
Mm-hmm.
I can see myself live on your live.
Yeah. I always tune into the live so that when people ask questions.
Except when I looked at it, I wasn't moving. You were moving.
Well, it's delayed a little bit.
It's delayed. All righty. Well, thank you, everybody. Welcome.
Oh, yeah. See, Debbie says, "Yep, we see you."
All right. That's always good news.
Oh, we forgot to check your teeth or something.
I went into the bathroom.
Oh, you're good. Okay.
Swallowed.
Did you floss while you were in there?
Did not. All righty. Now, let's see. A couple of administrative things.
Mm-hmm.
One is we want to remind people that when you want to ask a question, we really want you to go use the form where you can ask the question. That's at the top of the Family History Ron Facebook page. There's a little form there. Yep. You can click it. It'll open up the form. You enter in your question. What that does is that generates a spreadsheet that then Tegan can use to do all the questions. If you just send it to us in a post or something, then we have to go copy and paste it and put it in there.
Or I might miss it.
Or she might miss it because she's looking through the post and not finding it. So please use the form to submit your questions. That's what we read off of. So I think she went through and tried to grab the ones that people had put in the...
Had emailed us.
Had emailed us or put in just post stuff.
Yeah, I tried to catch most of them. So I can't guarantee that I did. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Please go submit it and we'll answer it next time.
So please use the form.
Second order of business. We asked you guys to share about the page, and we wanted to break 900 followers. We got to 800. I think we're at 874. So pretty close. Pretty close.
That's nice.
So please continue to share. But I did mention that there was going to be a giveaway winner for the person who helped add or share it to the most amount of people.
Okay, and?
So, hold on. I have 7. Pick a number between 1 and 7.
There you go.
Mom says 3.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That would fault.
Okay, so that would be Francis Leitner. So, Francis Leitner, you're the winner. Go ahead and send us an email on the Facebook page is fine. And let us know your address so that we can send you a little goodie.
Yeah. We'll send you a little bit.
So, okay. Do you have anything else that you need to go over, refresh?
No, I don't think so.
Blah, blah, blah.
I don't think so. Let's get going.
Okay. You guys are ready?
I assume we have a couple of questions.
You ask me every time if we have questions.
You know, there was I was doing a presentation in Riverton. So for those of you who got to come, thanks for supporting me and being there. We had some technical difficulties, so we went from 3 screens down to 1, so we had to kind of crowd in.
Whoa.
But it worked out. But I did the presentation, and then I did a Q&A afterwards. And there's new directors there, and they said, you can do a Q&A, but come prepared to present material in case you run out of questions. And I said, well... They've never run out of questions yet, and we didn't run out of questions then either. People were following me out to my car, asking questions in the hallway and all the way to the car. So you always got questions, and I'm always happy to answer them. So thanks.
No, my favorite is every time we get ready to do one of these lives, I say, "Dad, are you ready?" Like a half an hour before, I'll say, "Are you ready to go?" Do we even have questions?
Yeah. Do we even have
any questions? Yeah. I'm like, why do you even ask that question? Of course we have questions.
No, because there may not be any questions.
You're popular. We've been over this.
Right. I'm a target. Okay.
A target.
Yeah. Let's get going.
All right. First question of the night comes from Pau. Wants to know, currently, if someone changes something in the name or birth field, we can go into the history and see the specific changes in these fields. But if there are changes in a marriage event, it's a little more complicated to see what happens because we have to go to latest changes, and that's much more confusing. Isn't it technically possible to have the history feature also available in the marriage events? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm reading questions. So I guess what he's asking is he wants to have like a history that happens in the marriage events, similar to like name or birth fields.
Well, the marriage event stuff is in the change log, but there's not a history button. So we could certainly that's possible. Technically possible is a funny question to ask because anything's technically possible if you're willing to spend enough time and money to do it. So even artificial intelligence, right? They want artificial intelligence. They've been spending billions of dollars for the last 40 years, and they got smarter stuff. So,
transcendence.
Yeah, I think that's still a ways off. So anyway,
yes, it's
we have the desire to allow you that the history list is just the history button that on the name is just a filter of the history list, and we just did the vitals initially, and there's no reason why we can't do other pieces in the history list. And I'll send myself an
I gotcha.
Just send an email to remind me that we're reworking some of the family tree interface, and as we're doing that, one of the things we want to work on is the history, the change log. We haven't touched the change log for 3 or 4 years, so
that's a long time.
It's time to get back around to the change log. So we're probably can add some of those things. So
please
send that to me so I remember to put it on my list of features.
Done. Really fast. Let's see. Hi to Barbara, and then Vonda Barris is joining us for the first time live.
Welcome. Nice to have you.
We have Valerie from South Carolina. That's like a long ways. Hopefully you have power.
Yeah, well.
And then Orem, Utah from Kathy.
Okay.
And Jesse says Tuscaloosa, Alabama loves FamilySearch.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
Go Alabama.
You're loved.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. It comes from Brian. Wants to know, what enhancements to Family Tree can we expect in the next 6 months? I'm guessing a lot. I'm just asking the questions. Why do you keep looking like that?
Well, we just released new hinting like last week.
Cool.
Another 200-something million new hints, and I saw a lot of people. Yes, a lot of people jumped right on them, and we had record-setting days with the hints. So thank you for going off and using those hints and helping them improve the quality of the tree.
Yeah.
It was something like records in something like 6 million hints, 6 million attached new records in like a week.
Wow.
Yeah, we run usually about 3 million, and so it was like
that's a lot
close
of
to 6 million
data.
So, yeah, we're getting up there. The number of sources in Family Tree is now well over 800 million.
That's a lot of sources.
So that's a lot of sources. So thanks. And so that's the newest thing.
Okay.
We're like I said, we're doing some work on the changing of the interface, what you see on the screen when you come to FamilySearch.org Family Tree. We're doing some tweaks there to make it faster, because right now when you go and look at your pedigree, for instance, it's actually also loading some pages with people, and so there's a lot of data that's being sent down, and that makes it slow. So we're working to speed it up. You'll start noticing that the URLs are going to change a little bit, because we're going to put the PID at the end of the URL instead of the middle kind of thing. And we're talking about a new way of doing the drop-down sort of last 50 people that you have. We'll still have the 50 people, but we'll probably have a separate list that just says recents list. And maybe in the future we'll figure out a way for you to just select somebody and say add it to my recent list. I think people would want that. And then you go look at the recent list, and then you can say, show me their tree or show me that person out of the list, instead of having to go to the 2 places and click the down arrow. I know you have to go to a tree and click the down arrow and do it, or you go to a person, click the down arrow and do it. Just have one list, and you have you some buttons inside of there, different things. So what else is coming?
I'll ask the question that everybody's been asking.
When?
No. Is family, like living circles with the family, going to be happening by the end of this year?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not. I think the share living will probably be sometime next year.
So
we're working on it. But I don't think it'll be done until sometime next year. Memories is working on. We're trying to figure out how to put pictures into stories, like embedded in the middle of it.
Like a blog post type of idea?
We run into a little snag, so it's slowing up. But that may be something that's coming in the next. I don't know. Don't have a date. I think it's like 3 to 6 months or something like that.
Okay.
I guess that's it. Most of the other stuff we're doing are things you're not going to necessarily see on the screen. We're doing a lot of upgrading to the latest versions of things, cleaning up the databases.
Making it faster.
Improving our algorithms, sprucing up, do that kind of stuff. We're doing a lot of things internally that are going to make it better.
Well, they might see like speed changes.
Could see some speed. You'll see speed changes when we do the.
You probably wouldn't know that they're
interfaces.
Happening.
It'll look the same, but it'll be faster.
Mm-hmm.
There's be some of that.
Okay.
So that's in the that's coming in recent months. So that's what's in my head in the next 3 months or so.
Yeah.
But working on a lot of things. We got
a lot of irons in the pot.
Yeah. We have 20 high level projects we're working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just in my teams,
mm-hmm.
and we have a total of 89 that we're doing. So we have 20 high priorities and 89 remaining.
And 69 just hanging out.
69 just hanging. No, 69 that chew up time, but it's
not as important.
We fit them in the cracks.
Got it. They're the peanut butter.
Yeah, we do the big stuff, and then when there's a break or something, then we jump over and do some of that, and then come back to the big stuff.
Got it. All right, let's
so
see.
We're always cranking.
Barbara says she told her sister who is on a mission in Peru about your Facebook page. She said, when I went to the site, I recognized him right away. He used to live in Arizona and is a close cousin to Steve's grandmother, Dawnette.
Who's she talking about?
I'm not sure. Barbara, tell us your sister's name.
No. She says, I lived in Arizona?
Yeah.
I never lived in Arizona.
Well, your parents did. And lived right on the border.
My parents lived in Arizona?
Your parents were
they were born in Snowflake, Arizona. Oh. That's true. I didn't know him then.
He lived in Texas.
I grew up in Texas and my parents lived there. Yeah. And then
in El Paso.
In El Paso. Yeah. Anyway.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah. Somebody from Peru.
Somebody looks like me, impersonating me in Arizona. I don't know who they are.
Doppelganger. Maybe you should hire them to go to your events.
Double. Okay, what's next?
Okay. Country Girl wants to know, how do you edit records that are suggested from the recommended tasks that are entered from genealogy banks and generated by computers? They're not always right or clear. Is there a way to correct them? If not, and they are dismissed as not a match, will that mess up the search engines for future results?
Yeah. So if first off, we currently don't have a way for you to correct indexes on historical records.
Okay.
That's been asked for a lot. We're actually working on a solution right now. I don't have any dates because it takes several of my teams and then several teams from the records area that does the indexing tool. Mm-hmm. But we definitely have plans to allow you to correct indexes, and I think everybody would like that. If it's about your person, and you know it's about your person, then you should attach it. Don't put not a match. If it's not about your person, so for instance, my mom in the 1940 census is listed as Betsy, Betsy, but her name is Lexi. Mm-hmm. Which happens in the census because whoever answered the door, they said, "Who's here?" And they said, "Well, there's Lexi and John and Elizabeth." And they said Lexi, but they heard Betsy. Yeah. So they write down Betsy because Lexi was kind of an unusual name. But I attached you attach that source to Lexi because it's about her. It's her family. Her brothers and sisters are there, and that was her birthday, and that's who it is.
Right.
And so don't do not a match there just because there was an error in the record. Just attach it, and then the algorithm will stay happy. And
is there a way to put a note in or modify it that
you can't modify the indexes right now, and that's going to come in the future.
Okay.
But you could, when you attach it, you can put a little note in the reason statement that says, this was recorded incorrectly. Her name is really Lexi, but the census taker wrote down Betsy.
Okay.
So that's reasonable to do. Okay?
Okay. That sounds fair. All right, this is a long one. Are you ready?
Okay.
Brace yourself.
I got to listen long then.
Here we go. This is in regards to the not available that we talked about last time.
Okay.
Okay. This lady named Barbara is assisting someone who is dealing with this issue right now. Her ancestor's name is Willie. She originally entered
Willie?
it. She originally entered it as a male, but she identified as a female on all of her sources. She's married and has a daughter.
Wait, hold on. So they're saying the person?
So the person, the ancestor in the record's name is Willie, and she thought that it was a male. However, it is actually a female.
Oh, okay. So she accidentally put in male.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. I'm assuming Barbara is a family history consultant because she's assisting.
She's helping somebody.
So she said, what I was going to do was make a new PID, let my friend reserve the temple work, then remove all the family relationships from the old not available PID, and that is it. This is what I was instructed to do when contacted help about a member in my own family who had been identified as a wrong gender. But when I discussed this with another war temple and family historian, she said to send the incorrect PID to FamilySearch to let them delete it. This is not what I was originally told to do. So, short question finally. What do we do when a deceased person has a wrong gender on FamilySearch? So we talked about this a little bit last
I even contacted the support people and said, you've got to teach your people to not say that.
Well, maybe
okay.
they need another lesson.
The answer is, if you have a person that has the wrong gender, or sex is what we label it. We have to label it sex because of legal things now. Just change the sex, and it'll say not available. Don't panic because it says not available. Don't go create a duplicate of it with the right sex. Don't, what was the other third thing?
Create a new PID, delete the other.
Yeah.
Call FamilySearch and have FamilySearch delete it.
The answer is change the sex. Don't create another one. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. Go change the sex, then contact support. The only reason that it gives you a not available is because the
ordinances were done for
there was ordinances done for the other gender.
For the incorrect sex.
Yeah. So if they put in male accidentally, some ordinance was done on that person.
Right.
There's a male ordinances on that person, and then you change it to female. That ordinance has to be dealt with. Okay. We don't want you to delete it because that loses that ordinance information that was done before, even if it's incorrect. We still want to keep a history and information about that.
Yes.
You don't want to go and rehook all the relationships.
5,000 billion people.
The new parent, different parents, and all this kind of stuff. That's a mess.
Okay.
Change the sex. Call support or create a support case and say, I changed the sex on this PID and it's marked as not available, and they'll fix it. And I think it happens pretty quickly. What I'm hearing, it's not that, I would imagine it'll just be a few days, maybe a week, and it'll be changed. And then you can reserve the ordinances that are missing because they'll resolve it. They'll resolve the male ordinances so that they're not considered valid. And then you'll be able to do the female
Then it'll
versions.
be available for you to.
Then they'll fix it, and you'll see the green temple stuff for you to do the female version of this person.
Okay.
So back in the old days.
It's going to be okay. Take a breath. I know it's a disrespect to the family. But
yeah, I just get frustrated with the people getting the wrong information from a support call. And I get it. There's hundreds. There's like 500-600 support missionaries, and we love them. They do a great job. They do stuff I can't do. Yeah. But it's hard to train 500 people and get them all doing exactly the right thing. Yeah. So what they're doing is what they learned in New FamilySearch. Because in New FamilySearch, which is the earlier version, you couldn't change the sex at all. And it's because you couldn't change it, the answer was go create a new one that's the right sex.
Delete all this
and then tell us about it and we'll delete the other one.
Got it.
That was the correct answer in the old system.
In New FamilySearch.
That's right. New, which was really the old one.
Yeah, well,
we won't get
that up again.
But in Family Tree, you can change the sex.
Right.
So the answer here is change the sex.
Yes.
And then go contact support to have the not available taken care of.
I'll read you some comments, and then we'll go to the question. Hold on. Okay, Susan says hi from Wallace, North Carolina.
Hello.
Rich says hi from Maryland. Stephanie says hello from Oklahoma.
You can read that?
Yes, I can read that. I know you're blind, but I can read it.
Font's like that big.
It's your computer. I'm just
like that big.
saying. Norman says hello from Wallace, North Carolina as well. And then Deanne says, hey, I like your hair, daughter. Oh, thank you. So my name is Tegan. I guess I should introduce myself.
She likes your hairy daughter?
No,
hairy daughter?
She likes my hair.
She likes the daughter's hair.
Yeah, not your hair.
Yeah, well,
who likes your hair?
Thank you very much.
I do.
Everybody always says, you look great today. And my wife's sitting next to me. You look great today. And I go, thanks. And they say, well, I'm talking to you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thanks. All right.
So, okay.
What do we got next?
She has another question. That's why I was going to
Oh, she did a twofer.
She did a twofer. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so she said, I'm also assisting another person whose cousin and the cousin's son died over a year ago. She contacted the closest living relative, who happens to be the cousin's daughter, and got permission to do the temple ordinances for them. She has verified the date of this phone call. We sent a request to FamilySearch for permission to reserve these two over a month ago, and we haven't heard anything back.
So these are 110-year rule, I suspect.
She said that they passed
a year ago.
Over a year.
Yeah, so they're 110-year rules, so they have to do support, and they have to do the permissions.
Correct.
So what you do there is send me an email, ron@familysearch.org, RON @familysearch.org.
Yep.
Send me an email. What's her name?
Barbara.
And tell me the PID of the person, the case number, if you got a case number.
If you started a support case.
Well, you do. When you do 110, you get a sports case created. So you go to My Cases.
Okay.
You go to Get Help, My Cases. You see the cases, write down the support number, the case number. Send me that email, and I'll go find out where it's stuck and push it along. Okay?
Little bumps.
Just a little bump.
Just a
little nudge. Nudge.
Little bump. She says, thank you for answering this first question from a past video. And then someone else says, love what you do from day one and before that. Thank you for all of your
well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, whoa, sorry, I got a little scroll happening there for a second.
Okay. All
right, this question comes from Debbie, who wants to know, what does this mean? This sealing to parent ordinance is valid, but the parents are not listed because of privacy, or they may not match those in the family tree. I have looked at the parents, and there are no duplicates for them. They were died in 1980 and 82, and the person in question was sealed to them in 1927.
Okay, what she's talking about, for everybody to know, is she's gone to a person page, and on the person page, she went to the Ordinance tab, and on the Ordinance tab, it shows that the child has a sealing to parent ordinance done, but it even may tell you the temple, may not, but
or a date or something.
Date in the temple, maybe. And then it has no parents listed to the side. Okay. There's two reasons why that can happen. And one is and if it shows parents on the person's page, there may be another sealing to parents somewhere else that says, here's a set of parents. But if it doesn't, then you're correct. You have to go look. Maybe there's a duplicate set of parents because the way the sealing of parent works is we say this child PID, P-I-D, is sealed to that parent mother or that father PID and that mother PID.
Okay.
And if that relationship gets severed, then the sealing of parent is still valid because it's the child's ordinance.
Not the parents.
Not the parents.
Okay.
It goes with the child. So the child sealing parent is valid, but we can't show you the parents because you've severed that relationship and said that's not really their parents. So you have to find those duplicate parents and hook them together or merge them with the parents that they have. Now, if you can't find any duplicate parents, there's another reason why this happens. Which is there was a span of time, and I can't remember the dates. It was probably early 70s, maybe a little before, when sealing of parents were recorded, sealing of parent ordinances were recorded in membership records.
Okay.
And membership records only keep the most recent parents.
Ooh.
So if they were sealed to, mom and dad, and then mom and dad got divorced or remarried or whatever, died, got another husband, then the new couple is now the parents of that child.
But
that wasn't who they were sealed to.
Right, they were sealed to this other
Right. So if it's in the membership record, we won't show the parents because we don't know if it's the right set of parents that are sitting in the membership record.
Makes sense.
So we don't show it. So
so what do you do in that case? What should she do?
Well,
is that a support issue? Is that what?
I'm not going to help you if it's the membership. Got nothing we can do about that. So you could call support. You could connect support and see if they can find the PIDs associated with the sealing, that because you don't know that.
And attach them.
And they'll probably fix it for you. Okay. So you can do a support case if you've tried to find a duplicate, and they'll either reply, "It's done," and they found the PIDs, and you'll see the parents there, and you'll either have duplicates that you have to merge, or they may merge it for you, or they'll return back and say, "This isn't a membership record. We don't have accurate parents there." So if you're curious, I told you why it's happening, and there's only one thing you can do to fix it is find the other parents and put them in. But if you can't find them, then you have to call support if it bugs you. If it bugs you that it doesn't have parents.
Makes sense. Okay.
They don't have to have parents sitting there, by the way, in order for them to receive the blessings of being sealed to parents.
Correct.
Because it's a child ordinance.
Right. Okay, next question comes from Grant. Wants to know, is it possible to require that a source be added to a person before submitting for temple ordinances? Many people, younger and older, use the green icon finding apps. While these programs can yield legitimate results, there is a concern. The problem is many of these newfound ancestors are duplicates for one reason or another. Many of the people using these apps do not check the duplicates or check to see if the ancestor has an available source. Having a source attached would be an authentic record. Could a warning check for duplicates or sources be added?
Well, a couple things there. These find ordinances in your tree apps by partners. These are not ours. These are other people that are building these things.
Third-party apps.
We try to require them to do some checking. They can show green temples, but they really need to check for duplicates and things like that. We ask them to do that. Some of them are better at it than others. And we can't, if we find problems with certain apps, then we contact them and chew them out and get mad at them and stuff and try to get them to change. Some are really responsive and some not so responsive. If you do the tree, then if you're in family tree, we don't let you reserve it unless all the possible duplicates are resolved. So we check any 4 or 5 star duplicate, we force you to resolve before you can reserve. Requiring a source is a great idea and concept. It doesn't work everywhere in the world. For instance, Africa has almost no sources at all. And so we're actually going off and interviewing village elders in order to get the history in the past. And they can say names, so-and-so was the son of so-and-so, which was the son of so-and-so, the chief or whatever, so-and-so.
Yeah.
But oftentimes there's not dates or places, and there's certainly no sources that can be attached to the person. We probably, in those cases, since it's oral histories, we may allow the oral history to be the source, but it's still just someone's words.
Right.
And we're not to the point yet where we have time to. Some of my thoughts in Family Tree have been, and this was years ago. I thought, well, what I want to do in the future is when we have time, when this gets high enough in priority, we'll make it so that if the person was born in the United States, for example, we'd say, well, you should really have these 3 censuses should be there before you can take them, because we know that back east in 1850 there was a 18 census there. So you should really have to do that. And then that way we have to be smart and say, well, in the United States here you need these censuses. If they're in Canada, you need that. If they're in Africa, you need this. But we just can't blanket say they got to have a source before you can submit names to the temple. So, I mean, someday we may get there.
Probably not.
Until then, it's going to be a while. But until then, we just enforce the policies that the temple department demands as far as naming and how long they've been deceased and things like that. But we're always tightening. We're always tightening that up. I'm going through another round with the temple department to clean up some requirements so that we can tighten things up and require a standardized date and things like that to try to make it a little bit more accurate before we build a temple. So we're always working on it, but we haven't got to the point where we can decipher when to ask for a source and when not to ask for a source. Okay?
It's a hard thing.
It's
a hard thing. All right. I'm not sure what the person's name is, but their username is Kanava.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to know, how do we get rid of hints and have them not show up again?
Well, that's not a very good question because you're not telling me why you want to get rid of it.
Let's assume.
But I'll tell you why.
That we resolved the hint, but it keeps popping up. No. No? Okay.
Okay, so when you get a hint, you have two choices. You have attach it, or say not a match. Okay. And then the hint goes away. If you attach it, it goes away. If you say not a match, it goes away. Okay. If you say not a match, that can affect the way we do our algorithms. So you don't want to say not a match for something that really is a match. It's really about that person. You should attach it. So I suspect what this person's talking about is what I've been asked a lot is, why do I have a source that's this source when you're telling me to attach the same source again? It's already attached.
Duplicate sources.
And the answer is, can you believe it? I can't even hardly believe it myself. That there would be people that actually put duplicates into a system. How can that be? I don't understand. We don't do that in the tree or nothing like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, so what happens is a record, and you go to a county, they duplicated records so that you didn't have to drive to the other county. Yeah. When we come in and film, we just film everything in the county. And there's not somebody sitting there going, 1 million, that one looks like that one. Or let's take this one and look at all of these ones, all 5 million here. Yeah, there's one that's the same. Yeah. So there's nobody looking to see that actual picture of the source was actually the same picture. Mm. It just got photographed twice. Okay. So the answer is, if there's a duplicate source, the duplicate, attach it to. So you got two sources on your person. That's all right. And then we're working on an upgrade to sources. We're considering, we haven't finalized it, to allow you to collapse two sources together. So you can say, combine these two sources together, merge these two sources. Mm-hmm. We don't know what we're going to do. Collapse them and say, they're really the same one. So they stay separate, and the system says they're both resolved and you won't hint anymore. But when it looks on the page, there's only one entry. Right. So just attach them, live with the extra sources on it. It doesn't hurt anything to have more sources than, it doesn't hurt anything to have 2 or 3 of the same source. Right. And but don't say not a match. Okay? That help? Mm-hmm. And then we'll come out with something. We recognize the problem. We're trying to come out with something in the future here where we can allow you to collapse them together and say they're really the same source. Okay?
Let's see. Barbara says hi from Arizona. Hello from Arizona. Yep. Stephanie says she loves hints.
Oh, hints are a great thing.
Are awesome.
They're a great thing. Please spread the word around because people don't know about hints for some reason. Really? We need to tell people, hey, just put your stuff in the FamilySearch. It's great. It's not too hard. And if you put in your tree back to the dead, you start getting hints that tell you about your dead ancestors.
They hook you up.
Yeah.
Valerie says, duplicates can sometimes be confusing when you're dealing with a senior and a junior. I can only imagine that would be a little confusing.
Got to be careful.
Watch those dates.
You will get a hint, and it may be for the senior when it's really the junior or vice versa. So just get it attached to the right person.
Diane says, sometimes they're matched, and when I look at it, it's already attached. I have at least 2 of these every day. So it's a duplicate, like he just said.
So probably a duplicate.
Just attach it in.
The way you know if it's a duplicate, if it's the exact same image or the exact same URL. Uh-huh. So if you go to that source, you look at the top of your browser and it has that big ol' honking URL, if it's the exact same URL as the other one, then it's the URL would be different, but the actual picture is the same. Yeah. That means the system thinks they're 2 different sources.
So attach them both.
Even though it's the same picture. Attach them both.
All right. Vonda says, I have had hints that I've either attached or rejected, and they do keep showing up, and they are not duplicates. Sometimes the hint will come in on a sibling when it is already attached to somebody else.
Well, the siblings have similar names. And by the way, we're talking about a person, not a family.
Yeah.
So if a sibling has a attachment, well, if it's the exact same source, it should only be attached to one person.
Unless
We tend to not hint it unless it has multiple people.
Well, I was going to say, like a census might list a whole entire
Right, a census will have a whole family, so the record will have
all the
siblings and parents. So that thing's going to
be attached.
It's going to hint to everybody in the family.
Right.
And you're going to want to attach it to everybody in the family.
Okay. Beth is saying she's having some of her sources detached, and the same one is reattaching to a single record. I don't know why they would detach and somebody was detaching.
Yeah, somebody detaching it on you.
I guess. Okay. From Kavana again says, as a non-LDS member, I am not able to see family ancestors who are LDS and whether or not their work is done. I would really like to be able to see this information.
Sorry, at this point in time, we are not authorized to show temple ordinances to non-member people.
It's a privacy issue, yes.
Yeah.
So privacy policy problem right there.
It's not a government privacy problem. It's a church decision. That may change someday, but right now we're only allowed to show temple ordinances to members of the church.
All right. Okay. Another Barbara. I don't know if it's the same Barbara. Maybe she just has lots of questions today.
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear. Okay. It's got lots of names in it. You ready for this?
Well, if it's a specific person.
Let's see. My grandmother's favorite brother, Walter Markson, lived near us when I was a child. The son walked, and my dad is named after him. Walter's first wife was named Marie Kern. Her grandmother, Christina Hoop, came over from Germany and married.
You better send this one to me.
Oh boy, Barbara, hold up.
I'm gonna answer that one through an email.
Do
I have an email address for them?
No. Sorry, my question is so long. Let's see.
Because it's too specific. The question you're asking is for your specific case, and so I got to do a little research on it.
Barbara, whose grandmother's favorite brother was Walter Markson, if you can tell us which Barbara you are, so that you can either give us an email address or we can email you through the Facebook, that would be fantastic.
We can return it to her on Facebook or something like that.
Oh, Barbara Blackfox, she says, stop, I already fixed the Walter Markson already. Well,
okay.
All right.
Terrific.
Then. Fantastic.
Glad you were on.
That's great.
I'm glad you were able to fix it. Terrific.
Okay. Diane Westmoreland. Oh, also I should mention, Barbara said, I appreciate your time and effort.
Thank you very much.
Diane Westmoreland wants to know, a patron would like to be sealed to her deceased ex-husband that she lived with and took care of for the last 5 years. Both remarried after their divorce and had more children, but they did have 2 children while they were married to each other. Can she be sealed to her deceased ex-husband?
Well, I don't know if she's been sealed before, but I can't answer that question for you. That has to be answered by your bishop.
Okay.
So go have her talk to her bishop, which will probably refer her to the stake president, and that has to have approval. Temples do that all the time when they have to take a living person and seal them for their dead spouse or dead parents.
Sure.
It just has to go through
Proper
the priesthood thing for approval. It's a special approval, and then that's for any living to dead sealing or even living sealings. If you're going to go to temple and have your kids sealed to you, if you're joining the church after you've had your children, that still requires bishop and stake president special write-up and approval.
Approved.
Yeah. I'm sure it will unless there's issue, but they have to check their thing.
Okay.
So contact your bishop, tell them that's what you want to do, and then if they're struggling, just say, check it out with the stake president. They'll know what to do and how to do that.
She wants to mention too that she loves the Q&A. She says, please keep going. We need your expertise.
One day you're going to ask me a question. Well, there's a couple of times I get a question I can't answer right off.
Hey, but I'm getting better.
I'm
getting better at answering some of the questions for you without you even knowing that it's happening. It's like poof behind the scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. Until you mess up on one, and it's like I really go, oh.
No, I'm going to show up with you at like RootStech or something like that, and I'm going to be able to take a line of people asking questions.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see that. Okay. What's next?
Okay. Tom says, is it possible to hide or delete the hundreds of FamilySearch messages I've received over the years? After questions are answered and we say thank you, etc., the message lingers waiting for one more thank you response, showing that you have X amount of number of messages, when in reality there's 0 waiting to be answered. Similarly, can we delete or hide the old questions or messages that we no longer need? That way we can easily see what messages need to be responded to.
I don't know. I haven't actually tried to delete the messages. I'm assuming you're talking about the internal messaging. And I don't know. Let me go find out. Send me that one.
Okay. Can you delete internal messages?
Seems like you should be able to.
Or like archive them or something.
I think you can actually, but I'm using my computer to do the Facebook Live, so I can't check it out.
My iPad.
But I'll check it out and we'll get back to you.
Okay, so he said he very much appreciates you taking your time to do this. It's an impressive dedication to the book. Mm-hmm. Absolute must-watch show, and FYI, I'll be serving the temple tonight, so I won't be with you live. But I always watch and re-watch these. We pack them full of practical advice and tips.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that they're helpful.
He says,
sometimes I get wore out. Today was a long day.
Many thanks.
Today was a long day.
You need a drink? You're getting dry.
I'm getting dry.
I can hear it.
You can hear it?
Yep, I can.
Okay, read.
Okay.
Drink.
Kay Bono wants to know, I am curious about relationship of FamilySearch with Ancestry in regards to the Württemberg, Germany, Lutheran baptisms, marriages, and burial records.
I'd have to go find that out.
Okay.
Send that one to me.
So
I have to go talk with the records folks and fill out, because you're talking about a specific collection.
Yeah.
I don't really know much about a specific collection, but I know who to ask.
Okay, so Kay Bonnell, I don't have your email address. I guess we should adapt the form. It gives us
you should have
emails,
a form and give it an email address so we don't have to ask.
that I don't have to ask you. But if you're on, please let us know your email address or send an email to the
so Ron
Facebook,
at FamilySearch too, for that one too.
Get it to him so we can do the answer. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Colleen says you can delete the messages. Allison says she just tried and she was able to delete the messages.
So I think you can delete.
Barbara says, can a person be on a census more than once in the same year, different places? Several times I thought that they were probably the same people, just in a different place.
I guess that's possible.
Well, I mean, if
they do
move
one county and then they move and then they do another county, and I guess that's possible.
I would assume that,
especially in the old days. I mean, if it's the exact same family and it all lines up with the same names and birthplaces and ages.
Oh, okay. Barbara said, I have a relative that was listed in 2 censuses in the same year. She was visiting her grandma.
There you go.
And was listed in her house and then again in her family's house.
Yes, as a child.
So
there you go.
Yes, it's possible.
It all depends on if you get there before the census taker gets there.
Or hide, so you're not in the house.
Yeah.
All right. Barbara. I don't know if it's the same Barbara.
My gosh.
We have a lot of Barbaras.
Yeah,
it's a popular name.
I bet it's the same Barbara.
Maybe. She says, I am a temple and family history consultant. Often I work with the youth to find family names for them to take to the temple for baptisms and confirmations. Afterwards, I remind or nag them to either share these names with their parents, if their parents have recommends, or unreserve them so that someone else can do the ordinances that the youth are not able to do. However, if I could figure out a way to just reserve a baptism or a confirmation without adding the initiatory, endowment, and sealing onto the card, that would be super helpful. I have called a number.
Who's reserving it? The kids?
So my guess is she helps the youth find names to go do baptisms and confirmations, but they can only do those 2 pieces. Right. So the kid either has to unreserve it to be able to get the other half, or she's wanting to know if there's a way to just reserve those 2 ordinances so it could still be available for somebody else.
Yeah, we long ago, 10 years ago, in that system, we actually allowed people to reserve whatever particular ordinance they want.
Okay.
And what happened was we found that the ordinances that people don't like to do, nobody picks. And so you end up with a bunch of family with, 2 or 3 ordinances done on each person, and the rest just sit forever. And it wasn't a situation we liked, and so that's when we changed it to say, when you reserve, you get them all. And then it's your responsibility to get them all taken care of or release them back.
Okay.
So there isn't a way, and we're not going to have plans to do that because of the problem we saw in the past. We don't want to repeat that problem. I will let you know that we do want to, when you share with a family or friend, we're going to fix that so it's done right. It was not done right. We had a short time frame, and the team just was quicker to send the whole reservation. And we're going to go back and fix that so that you can share just the ordinances that you want to share. So we're going to fix that. But as far as the youth go, yeah, that's an issue. They'll have to unreserve. Now, if they don't do anything on it for 2 years,
yes,
it'll get automatically taken off the list anyway. So you can feel comfortable in the fact that those names are only going to sit there for 2 years, and then we'll pull them off the youth list because nothing's been done on it. I mean, let the youth print the card and hand it to their parents and say, "Go do the ordinances, Mom and Pop."
Yeah,
instead of having them release it, how about they print it out and give it to their parents and have their parents go take care of them?
Yeah.
Their relatives too.
Okay. Melinda wants to know: are there any more site partnerships coming? They come all the time.
All the time. We're always working on stuff.
So the answer to that question would be yes.
I don't know any specific right away, but there's always people that are approaching us. There's always companies that are approaching us, and we're always evaluating. And another partnership could happen.
Right.
But even if there was one coming, I couldn't tell you.
There's so many in the works.
No.
They're
just unannounceable until it's time.
Oh.
But I'm not aware of any.
Legally not allowed
just so
to say.
you know, I'm not aware of any coming soon.
That's a kill.
Yeah.
Okay. Colleen wants to know: when did the new memory page change for photos?
Well, that's a big question. You know that we release the product 1,000 times a day. So when did it change? Every day.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what you're talking about. Now, if you're talking about the new gallery view, that's been out about 6 months or so.
Okay.
If you're talking about what I talked about in the past, where I think I mentioned it last time or the time before, where we changed the rules for when you tag somebody in a photo that's living. Mm. And we know it's living because you've tagged it and attached it to a living person. Mm-hmm. When that attach happens, we no longer show that tag to anybody else, and that's just for privacy. We needed to do it to make sure we weren't exposing people's names that are living. So I don't know what change you're talking about. You'd have to be a little bit more specific when you say when did it change. I'd have to know what change you're talking about. So if you want to post again or ask the question again,
let us know.
And just say, when did it change to do this? Or when did it change to look like that? Mm. Or why did it change to look like this? Okay. So I need a little more specifics there.
Okay. Debbie Chase wants to know, you probably don't know. However, I work in an affiliate library and we now have access to more online records from FamilySearch than we did before. Is there any way to know what records are available without just going into each record? Trying to find out more information because I know some of my patrons will be asking me.
Well, the question I don't know. The question you're asking is what collections are available, and then what collections are available in Family History Centers. You can find out what collections are available by looking at the catalog. The catalog search will tell you what's available. And then there's a big long list. If you go into search, you can go look in the browse collections, and you see all the hundreds of thousands of collections there. So that tells you what's available. I don't know if there's a place to go because a Family History Center gets more collections than what you can see on your computer at home.
Interesting.
And that's because of there are licensing agreements we had to have.
Oh, we talked about this.
Yeah, with companies that own the images. Mm-hmm. We make a deal because we're trying to make things as free as possible and as much as possible available. So we'll go to a place and they'll say, we have all these images, but we need them indexed. We'd say, hey, we'll index them for free and give you the index back, but in turn, you have to let us share that index for free and show your images to people in Family History Center. So we cut a deal like that. Mm. So that means that we may see the index on the search system, hinting, but you can't see the image, but you can see it if you go to a Family History Center and log in.
Interesting.
There's some collections that are like that, and so I don't know. Why don't you send me a thing that says, is there a way for somebody to know which collections can be seen at a Family History Center? And I will see if there's a way, maybe when you're at the Family History Center, you can say which ones are special that you can only see in Family History Center. That may help you.
That's nice. Okay, Chris Wright from Australia, down under. My accent is horrible.
Yeah.
Says, I have an ancestor who is showing an error for a non-standard place of burial.
Yep.
But the place I've entered is completely correct. What do I do? I would prefer it to be correct. And my OCD kicks in, and I don't know.
All right, well, let me help you with your OCD. This one's going to require some drawing.
Ooh, we haven't drawn all night.
Yeah, we have. And I think last week we didn't do any drawing
No,
either. So let me put in a place.
You're going to actually use a real place. I was going to say, like, why don't you bury them on, like, Saturn's rings or something?
Well, let's see. Salt Lake City is in what county? Sure.
Salt Lake.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'll just abbreviate. County, Utah,
USA.
Okay.
A non-standard place of burial.
All right. Now, this is because you think, and we've confused you. We didn't make it that great. Sorry. I should have written it this way so I could turn it like that. It would look like one line.
Wait, would you let me know when to do up there?
Yeah, you probably should.
Start explaining.
Okay. You're saying it's standardized because it looks standardized to your eyeballs. And the way you're defining standardized is you're saying, well, it has the city, it has the county, it has the state, and it has the country, right? Or province, depending on whatever country you're talking about. And you look at that and says, well, that's standardized. Why is the machine telling me it's not? That's because you don't know that there's really two fields for every place. One field is the text that you typed in. There you go. Hang on, there it is. Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake
County, Utah. This would be fully spelled out, but that's okay.
Well, I was running out of space, so I went a little
Salt Lake City, Salt Lake County, Utah, USA. So you look at that and say, oh, that's standardized. What's the computer's an idiot? What you don't know is there's another field
right where
that you don't normally see until you click to edit it.
Okay, and where's that field?
And it shows up right below this field. And it'll be a yellow. What you'll see, it'll say place here. Okay. And then down here, it'll say standardized. They won't read that. It's too small. It's too small. It's because I'm writing fast.
Standardized?
Yeah, I think it says standardized.
Okay.
And then it'll either say, it'll have a little thing here that says,
like fill me in?
Not
standard.
Not specified or something. I don't remember the word.
Well, he's saying it says not
standard. No, that's
okay. Sorry.
That's the error.
I was getting confused. Okay, go.
Okay, then up here, burial, and then edit. Okay. All right, let's go on this side. Okay. So let me explain all the parts. So what you see is this string here when you're looking at the person on the page.
Yeah.
But there's really another field called the standardized field. And that standardized field is what the computer knows this is saying.
Well, it's what it recognizes.
This is just text. But we take that text and we analyze it to try to figure out on the computer, what is that place really is? What is that place? So you can think of it like this is just a string, but this computer one is a GPS location kind of thing.
Like a longitude, latitude,
exactly
where you are.
Yeah, some places don't have longitude and latitude, but it's a place that the computer understands. So that when somebody puts in on this line, they put SLC, Utah. Yeah. This one will say Salt Lake City, Salt Lake County, Utah, USA. If a person, think of New York. Somebody just put New York. We don't know if that's
upstate, Manhattan,
Long Island. We don't know if it's New York, or
Albany,
New York, Idaho, or Paris, for instance. There's Paris, and you have Paris, France, Paris, Idaho, Paris, Texas. Yeah. So this looks like it's right, but that field is not filled in. That's why you're getting it is not standardized. So how do you fix it? You click, here's your burial. You click edit. When you click edit, you will see both of these fields. When you see that both fields, you'll see that this one's screening saying it's not standardized. Okay? And what it'll have right here next to it, right here next to this thing, this is my little grandson just joined us. He got done with his bath.
This is my little guy.
We need to finish up here because it's about time.
Yeah.
He's got to go home and go to bed. What's up, Beckett? There you go. So it has a little drop-down button right there. You click that, and it'll drop down a little box right here, and it'll list all the things that it thinks that might be.
Okay.
And you just pick one.
You pick an option. You
say, oh, that's that one right there. It's not Paris, France. It's Paris, Idaho. Or it's not Salt Lake City, Alaska. It's Salt Lake City, Utah.
Got it.
You select it, and then this will go away, and it'll replace it with Salt Lake City County, Utah, USA. Then you hit save, and now the error that said you got a non-standardized burial will go away because this field is now filled in. That's the problem. It's not that this has the city and the county and the country, state, and the country.
It's not that you're not missing information because you probably have it correct. It's just the computer doesn't recognize your text.
We kind of messed you up because we used the word standardize, which is a computer word, and you're thinking of the standard style that we've always done in genealogies in the past, right? Where you entered in the county and all that stuff in a certain order. Okay? So I hope that helps you. You just pick on the down arrow and pick the right one and click OK. All right? Now, the reason why we have to have two fields is not every place in the planet is in the computerized version. So, like, if we didn't know about a Salt Lake City County, we would probably choose down here, Utah, USA. Now, I don't know if anybody can understand that because the kid going, wow.
I'm sorry. He wants to see pictures of sheep. He's like obsessed with sheep and horses. I don't know why.
We'll be finishing in a second, Cody.
Okay. You want to do one more?
Yeah, we'll do one. That's it.
Chris, again, wants to know, when I'm changing information on a person record, the reason for changing is required. Can I edit reasons that I've created in the past? I have done some, which I would like to improve.
You can't go back in the past and edit what's in the past. Okay, so if you're looking at the change log and you're looking at those reasons, you're going, oh, that was a stupid reason. You can't go edit that one. But you can always go into any conclusion and just change the reason statement. That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
You don't even have to change the name and the place or any of that kind of stuff or the date and place. You can just edit it, fix up the reason like you want it, and then save it again. Perfectly fine. So don't have any problem with that.
Fix your OCD tendencies. We don't want you to have problems.
Some people get real frustrated and say, I want to fix my one I did, 3 times ago in the change log because it looked stupid. And I said, well, sorry. Just, that's the way it was. No one's gonna hunt you down or nothing.
Somebody mentioned it was a cute grandson. I think he's gonna be cute.
Yeah, he's a cute kid.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna stop there. If we didn't get to your question, don't panic. I have it in the spreadsheet. We'll get to it next time.
Next time we'll start right off where we left and continue on. First come, first serve. Yeah. And
then move forward from that. Just a reminder, so we'll be having another one probably in a few weeks here. Yeah. We haven't scheduled his October one yet. Sorry, he's been a little busy pants. His mom is sick and in the hospital and hasn't been doing too well. But as a reminder, if you are in Lakewood, Colorado, or the area of Lakewood, Colorado, he will be there for a family history conference on October 21st, which is a month from today.
Yeah.
So if you're in the area and you'd like to come by or ask questions or stop in and learn, he would love to see you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think you're done with events, right? For the rest of the
year.
I
got one in December, but it's not one they can come to. It's
internal.
It's a private group that wants me to come and present at their dinner. So
fancy.
Yeah.
However,
Roots Tech.
I was going to say, I announced Roots Tech this week.
Yep.
Registration opened yesterday, so go and nab your tickets. We'd love to see you. You're speaking Roots Tech this year? This year I'm speaking Roots Tech. 2018.
2018, February.
Yeah, it's the end of February, first week of March.
Yeah.
So
I'm talking on, traditionally I just talked on Family Tree, but now I've been asked to talk about recent additions this year and planned future stuff for all FamilySearch.org.
no,
So
that could be interesting.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. I know that some are going to ask if it's going to be recorded. I am trying to work with their social media lady up in Salt Lake.
Well, I think you have the ability. To send an email to Rootstack.
I've been talking to Wendy.
Well, I know that, but still,
Anyways.
I think you can send an email to Rootstack to express your feelings or whatever you want.
Not being recorded.
Or ask questions about registration or questions about whatever the classes.
Right. No, what I was mentioning was I don't know if your session is going to be recorded or not. And
I don't know.
I'm still working on how we did last year, where I was able to come with you and I was able to record it live.
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I'll let you guys know when we find that out.
Okay.
Hopefully we can do it like we did last year, because that was kind of nice for people to be able to tune in and be part of it with
I'll
us.
have to get you a better tripod.
I have a good tripod this time, so I'll bring it and set it up. And
so it's at the right height and everything.
Yeah, and we can catch the screen. So, anything that you want to say in closing?
No, thanks again. Thanks again for using FamilySearch. Thanks for using the stuff. I hope that it's helpful to you to find your family and understand your genealogy. There's something special about finding out about your roots, your past. And one of the great things is finding out what great ancestors you have. And it's interesting. You always find good examples and you find bad examples. Mm-hmm. And both of them are just as valuable.
True.
Because when you're faced with challenges, you know how they acted and how it ended up, how they reacted to the challenge and how it ended up. And you can choose to do what they did or choose what they didn't do. Mm-hmm. And it just makes you better. It just makes you have a happier life and make better choices and understanding how your ancestors did things and the consequences. It's nice to know that you can sort of predict your future if you can kind of understand your past a little bit.
Yeah.
So thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate you coming. Keep the questions coming.
Yep.
Reminder again, please use the Google form to fill them out, so that helps Tegan not have to go manually collect the questions. It gets it all put in a spreadsheet all nice for in the order that people submitted, and so we'd appreciate it if you do that.
Yep.
So have a good night. All right?
Yep, and we'll see you in October.
Yeah, and repeat the person who...
Oh, the person that won.
Yeah,
is that what you're
we said we'd have one for people who helped us to try to get
Francis. I can't remember his last name. First, you asked me. What is it? Leitner. Apparently, she remembers.
Yeah.
So, Francis,
she has a good memory.
Please send us an email. You can just email the FamilySearch Ron or the Family History Ron page. I'll most likely be the one that's mailing it to you, so just let me know where to send it to.
Congratulations for your class. And thanks for helping spread the word so that more people can be helped.
Yes. So have a good rest of your night and week, and we'll see you.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the next, we'll get the schedule out for next month.
Yep.
So you can see when we're having another one of these.
Yep. I'll remind you. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
See you guys.
Bye-bye.